Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Falcon Park here for this doubleheader action between the Newark Pilots and the Auburn Doubledays. Last night, the Doubledays took it to the Niagara Power in a close one-run ball game. The Doubledays won 2-1. That put them at 4-7 overall in one-run ball games, and then overall, it put the Doubledays from a game behind 500 at 15-16 to back to even at 500 at 16-16. Currently, Auburn's 4.5 games back of the division lead that is held by Elmira right now. The Pioneers, the Muck Dogs, and the Tarp Skunks are playing a little yo-yo action at the top of the division. Doubledays currently sneaking back into a playoff contention spot, currently a game and a half, make that 2.5 games behind the Niagara Power for that fourth wild card spot. The division still in chasing distance with the magic number down to 9, but for that wild card fourth spot, the magic number is at 12 with still 10, maybe even 11 games left to play this year. Well, lineup cards are just about to be exchanged at home plate by Daniel, Steve, and Ben Julian. Let's take a look at the starting lineups tonight. First for the visitors in the Niagara Power. Make that the Newark Pilots. We just saw Niagara yesterday in Newark. Leading things off will be the right fielder, Frank Vanzolata. Batting second will be the shortstop, Michael Flaherty. Batting third will be the shortstop, Tatsunori Negishi. Batting fourth will be the extra hitter, Jack Arcone. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Justin DiMartino. Batting sixth will be the center fielder, brother Frankie DiMartino. Batting seventh will be the third baseman, Tim Wagner. Batting eighth will be the designated hitter, Chris Ferrara. Batting ninth will be the right fielder, Briggs, make that the second baseman, Briggs Loveland. And batting 10th, rounding off the order, is the catcher tonight, Jack Paulutz. Let's take a look at the Double A starting lineup. As announced by manager Ben Julian, leading things off will be the second baseman, Carson Gross, batting second. The shortstop, Fernando Espinal, batting third. The designated hitter, Hazel Martinez, batting fourth. The extra hitter in Bobby Stang, batting fifth, will be the first baseman, Garrett Prosper, batting sixth. The center fielder, A.J. Wenrich, batting seventh, will be the left fielder, Christian Malillo, batting eighth. The catcher, Benji Reese, batting ninth. The right fielder, Logan Kowalski, and batting 10th, rounding off the order, the third baseman, Michael Woolley. Let's take a look at the starting pitching probables for in this game, one of a two-game doubleheader. We'll take a look at the Newark Pilots, who are going with newly entered in Landon White. He's currently 2-1 on the year with a 5.48 ERA and 21 in the third innings pitched. He's given up 20 hits, 5 runs, 13 of those were earned. He's walked 9, struck out 21. Opponents batting 247 on the season. And then for the Doubledays, they are going with the right-hander in Sam Huff. Currently this year, a 3-0 record in 28 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 26 hits, 14 runs, 12 of those were earned. Walked 13, struck out 22, and opponents batting 236 off the Doubleday starter. Well, we're just moments away from first pitch. We'll have the starting lineups announced to the crowd, the national anthem, and then the Doubledays will take the field here for game 1 of 2 between the Newark Pilots and the Auburn Doubledays. We'll see you with you here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. And welcome back to the Doubledays Baseball Network. Let's take a look at how Auburn will line up behind Sam Huff. Starting in the outfield from left to right, Christian Melillo in left, A.J. Wenrich in center, Logan Karowski in right, Michael Woolley at the hot corner, Fernando Espinal at short, Carson Gross over at second, Garrett Prosper anchoring the infield at first, and behind the plate doing the catching, the back end of the battery, Benji Reese. He'll be going for Sam Huff on the day. He's 3-0 on the year so far, 28 and 2/3 innings pitched, giving up 26 hits, 14 runs, 12 of those earned, has walked 13, struck out 22, opponents batting .236 off the right-hander this year. Doubledays enter into this ball game at a 16-16 record, 4.5 back. They're currently in 5th place of the West. At home, they are 11-8 at a neutral site. They are 1-0. On the road, they are 5-8. In the last 10 games, the Doubledays are 6-4. But in the season series against the Newark Pilots, they are 2-3, 0-2 when playing Newark at home. Let's take a look at how the Pilots will go to the bats against Huff and the Doubledays. Leading things off, the right fielder, Frank Vanzalata batting second. The shortstop, Michael Flaherty, batting third. The first baseman, Tetsunori Negishi, batting fourth, will be the extra hitter, Jack Aracone, batting fifth. The left fielder, Justin T. Martino, batting sixth. The center fielder, Frankie DiMartino, batting seventh. The third baseman, Tim Wagner, batting eighth. The designated hitter, Chris Ferrara, batting ninth. The second baseman, Briggs Lovin, and batting 10th, the catcher, Jack Polowitz. The first pitch from Sam Huff is a fastball taken on the inside corner for a called first strike, and we are underway. The Doubledays in their home whites and Newark in their road blues. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Huff. A fastball swung on and missed. Make that a changeup. Pulled the string on Vanzalata. Now the count goes to 0-2. Huff, a quick worker, back up on the mound. Brings the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs high above the eyes for ball one. Home plate umpire tonight in game one, Justin Matz and James Rackley out on the base paths. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way from Huff. Swung on and missed. A breaking ball in the dirt. Reese tires him with a throw over to first base, and it's in time. The first out of the ball game is a swinging strike three to Frank Vanzalata, and that'll bring up the shortstop in Michael Flaherty. Auburn pitching staff so far this year, it's been a good one, especially in the month of July. Here comes the first pitch from Huff. Swung on and missed. A breaking ball cut on in the dirt from Flaherty. Team ERA of 3.58, currently in 25 games played. Here's pitch. Breaking ball taken on the inside corner for a called strike. Make that 33 games so far for the Doubledays. They've given up 123 runs. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball freezes. Flaherty for strike three. Watches a good bender catch the inside corner. 2 away, and that will bring up Tatsunori Negishi. Quick 2 outs for Huff here in the top half of the first inning. The first of 2 games, both being played as 7-inning affairs. Here's the first pitch on the way from Huff. Fastball taken over the heart of the plate for a called first strike. Of those 123 runs given up by the Doubledays pitching staff, 102 were earned. Only given up 4 home runs this year as a whole. The staff is opponent's average of 220. Swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. Espinal has it in the hole, long throw across the diamond, and it's in time to retire the side. Huff retires the Pilots in order. We go now to the bottom half of the first inning. The Pilots nothing, and the Doubledays coming up. The Doubledays will send Carson Gross, Fernando Espinal, and Hazel Martinez 1-2-3 against Landon White. And for White on the season, as we mentioned earlier in the pregame, he's 2-1 on the year so far with a 5.48 ERA, giving up 20 hits, 15 runs, 13 of them earned, walk 9, struck out 21, and opponents batting .247 on the year. Carson Gross will lead things off, batting .238 on the year so far, on base of a .359. He has certainly done his job in the leadoff position, batting .320 with 3 walks as the leadoff hitter. First pitch on the way, a slider taken inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the Doubledays leadoff man, switch hitter, batting from the left side with the right-hander on the mound. White looks in, gets his sign. Here comes the windup, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Slider back doors for a called strike, and now the count evens up at 1-1. Mentioned this is a first of 2 games here tonight. Doubledays played 1 game last night against the Niagara Power. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Slider bounces in for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike now the count. It was a slim 1-run game. Once again, the Doubledays have been playing a lot of those tight ball games, but this time been working out in the Doubledays' favor. Here comes a 2-1. Swing off the end of the bat. Shallow center. And in there is Frankie DiMartino. Never mind, he just back up a couple of steps. He's there to make the catch. 1 away. That will bring up Fernando Espinal. Fernando on the year so far, batting a .176 in his 17 at-bats. 3 for 17, that is. 3 RBIs and walked 5 times. First pitch on the way. Slider off the outside corner, taken for ball 1. Well, for Fernando, this is a little bit of a home welcoming yesterday to Newark. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Slider swung on and missed. Now the count evens up at 1. Was a member of the Newark Pilots last year in the 2022 summer, along with the man on deck, Hazel Martinez. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball downstairs in the dirt for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Fernando started the year down in Wilmington in North Carolina in the Coastal Plains League. Didn't get the amount of playing time he was intending on, so comes home back to the upstate New York Finger Lakes. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken on the inside corner by a called strike from Justin Matz, our home plate umpire. Now the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield for the Pilots shifted in and a little to the pull side. The 2-2 pitch on the way, swinging a high fly ball deep down the left field line, but it's going to hook foul off the roofing of the Doubledays bullpen. Now the count stays even at 2-2. Newark beat the Niagara Power last night by 11-2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball pulled off the outside corner, and now the count runs full 3-2 here to the second batter of the ball game. Sunny blue skies overhead with a couple of clouds off to the distance down the right field line. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken down low for ball 4. Espinal takes off the gear, and for the back-to-back games, he's aboard with a walk, make it 3 walks over the course of his last 2 ball games. Puts a runner on first base for Hazel Martinez. Doubledays were able to score their first run on Tuesday night with a lead. They got a one-out walk to Espinal. Hazel Martinez followed up with a base hit. And Bobby Stang delivered an RBI single. The first pitch on the way to Martinez is a fastball taken upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. For Hazel on the year so far, batting .312. 8 doubles with a triple, a home run, and 23 RBIs. Healthy lead over at first base by Espinal. Here comes the 1-0 to Martinez. A fastball taken outside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Outfield shifted in a deep hole. Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder, playing almost into the right center field gap. Frank Vanzalato, the right fielder, hugging the line. The right-hander looks in. Espinal, healthy lead, takes off. The pitch on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike. A little bobble from Pawlowitz, the catcher, and in there safely at second base is Fernando Espinal with his first stolen bag of the summer. Ends up in scoring position now with only 1 away. Big hole open up the middle with Briggs Loveland, the second baseman, playing deep in the 4 hole on the outfield grass. Flaherty works in, trying to get Espinal back. Cat and mouse game at second. The 2-1 pitch is a fastball taken just off the black of the outside corner. Now the count evens up at 2-2. Bobby Stang awaits on deck, hopefully with Martinez already driven in a run. The outfield still shifted pull side along with the infield. Flaherty flashes the glove to throw to second base. Do they have Espinal pick? No, he's back in safely. Flaherty did not have the baseball. It looks like they would have had Espinal caught backdoored at second base. Something that the Doubledays have been able to do as a pitching staff has been picking off runners. It's more or less Michael Sills has been able to do that. He's already picked off 2 guys over the course of a week. Flaherty flashing the glove, now backs off to the shortstop position. Here comes a 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Martinez goes after a fastball outside, comes up empty. 2 away, that brings up Bobby Stang. First strikeout of the ball game for Landon White, brings up 2 away. That brings a dangerous bat of Bobby Stang up to the plate. Anybody who has the ability to drive in runs is certainly a commodity, and for the Doubledays, that's certainly been the hitting for Bobby Stang. Espinal with a healthy lead off second. Here's the first pitch. Fastball off the inside corner of the glove. Espinal back to the bag at second base. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Bobby. 2 away here as we begin inning number 1 inside Falcon Park. Bobby entering into this ball game, hitting .429 with the bases loaded, .395 with runners in scoring position with 25 RBIs. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive down the left field line. That's going to get tucked into the corner. Espinal hits the bag at third. He scores. Bobby Stang takes a turn. He's headed for second. The throw in is off and wide in, safely diving in. Staying at second base with another RBI, RBI number 29 and double number 17. Make that double number 18. He now leads the PGCBL with an extra double. He's now 3 above the second place guy. Puts the Doubledays on the board first here in the bottom half of the first inning. That brings up Garrett Prosper. The right-hander looks in the first pitch. Swinging a line drive back to the screen, foul. Oh, you can't be too shocked about Bobby Stang driving in another run. That's just all he's been able to do so far this year. He's been given plenty of opportunities. He hasn't hit anything south of the 4 spot in the lineup. He's had almost every opportunity to drive in runs. The 0-1 pitch on the way to Prosper is a slider off the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Prosper. Here's another guy who certainly has the ability to drive in runs. Prosper so far this year with runners in scoring positions, batting an even .400 with 16 RBIs. Batting .444 with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. Couple of looks over at second. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Prosper. Swing and a miss. A good slider falls off the back foot. That's got to battle up with a ball and 2 strikes. Prosper entering with 18 RBIs. Possible 19th standing at second base with Bobby Stang. Healthy lead off the bag at second base. Michael Flaherty, the shortstop, playing in his back pocket. Heads back to the shortstop position. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a tapper over to second base. Loveland's got it, sends a toss over to first, and that retires aside. But not until Bobby Stang hits a clutch double here in the bottom half of the first inning. We head to the second. The Doubledays lead it 1-0. Welcome back to Falcon Park. The Doubledays have a 1-0 lead over the Niagara Power. Jack Archimone, Justin DiMartino, and Frankie DiMartino. 4, 5, and 6 2 up against Sam Huff. The first pitch from the right-hander is swung and fouled off the shin guards of Benji Reese. 0-1 the count. Doubledays going to the final 10-11 games with a long push to the postseason. The 0-1 pitch from Huff. Fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Now Archimone having a battle up 0-2 against Sam Huff, who's just been mowing down hitters in the first inning. Glove land over his face right in front of the nose. Long pause, here comes. The 0-2 pitch on the way from Huff. A fastball runs a bit too high for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wind slowly starting to blow in from left center field. The flag just beyond the scoreboard, blowing right back at us in the booth. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way to Huff. Swinging a tapper back to the mound off the glove, the bobble, and he still can't recover. And it's going to be a tough error to give Sam Huff with a runner on first base here in the top half of the second inning, and that will bring up Justin DiMartino. It was a ground ball softly hit right to Huff off the mound. Had to go to his glove side. Just couldn't get a clean handle of the baseball off the tip of the glove and then couldn't get a grip. First pitch, taken in the dirt for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Doubledays had a clean game defensively, not one error in their win versus Niagara last night. Archimone with a lead off first base. Prosper holds him on the throw over. He's back in safely with a dive. The standings looking a little bit tighter here going into the final 2 weeks of the summer. Right-hander deals the 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Good fastball in the inside corner gets DiMartino swinging. Count evens up back at 1-1. Auburn pitchers certainly having a lot better success at home. 3.08 team ERA. Long pause, here's the 1-1. Fastball backs off DiMartino. Count goes to 2-1. 19 games played at home, 155 innings pitched. They've given up 70 runs, 53 earned. 113 hits, only 33 extra base hits allowed. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Fastball a little high for ball 3. And 3 balls and a strike, a good hitter's count. And Archimone with decent speed off first base. You could see the game get put in play by Daniel Steve down the third base line. Huff leans over the left leg, now comes set, looks in. Healthy lead at first base, stays home. The pitch swung on, popped up on the infield. Carson Gross, the second baseman, shielding his face from the sun. He's there to make the catch in shallow right field. Puts away out number 1. That will bring up Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder. One away, Archimone back at first base, and that brings up brother, the center fielder, Frankie DiMartino. Almost a little bit of the Griffey treatment out in the outfield. Healthy leaderboard at first base, squares around, pulls the bunt back, fastball misses high. Reese took a look over at first base. Archimone was back well before Reese even pulled the trigger back. First pitch at 5 o'clock on the dot here. First of 2 games, both being 7 innings. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball taken down, maybe inside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Expecting a big crowd later on tonight. It will be Little League Day here at the ballpark for the next couple of ball games. Here's the pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive center field right to A.J. Wenrich, but he can't make a play on it. It falls in front of them. 2-man reach here in the top half of the second inning, and that will bring up the third baseman, Tim Wagner. Well, it's a line drive. It's a fastball right over the heart of the plate. Huff trying to get a ground ball to his shortstop. It's the right direction, but this baseball just hit a little too hard, and Wenrich could easily have maybe made a dive, but it takes a risk with the ball bouncing away in center field. So he pulls up, lets it fall in front, keeps the runners aboard at first and second. Still 1 away here in the inning. The pitch on the way. First pitch is a slider, swung and missed in the dirt on a check swing. The home plate umpire, Justin Matt, says he goes around. 0-1 the count. Archimone aboard at second after an error. Frankie DiMartino aboard after the first hit. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and popped up on the infield. Who wants it? Michael Woolley calling everyone off. Home plate umpire and the field umpire send the right index finger up to signify an infield fly rule. Woolley comes down with a baseball. 2 quick outs. And that will bring up Chris Ferrara. 2 away, and the designated hitter due up. The infield for Auburn now gets a chance to play a little more back. Arkema with a short lead at second base. Backs away to the second base position is Gross. The first pitch is a breaking ball taken over the heart of the plate for a called first strike, 0-1. Huff has seen these Pilots hitters a couple of times. Both times pitching in Newark. He's gotten the win in both of those appearances. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way. In the dirt, gets away from Reese and goes to the backstop. And the runners will advance over to second and third now with 2 away. Now Huff's going to have to work just a little bit harder to get out of this inning. Auburn at home so far with the pitching staff. We mentioned 70 runs, 53 of those earned. Only 2 home runs surrendered in this ballpark by opposing hitters. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball taken downstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Beautiful plus 80 degrees the temperature for first pitch at 5 o'clock. Here comes the 2-1 pitch on the way. Big breaking ball taken upstairs for a called strike 2, and the count is even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shadows creeping out towards home plate, but we won't see those in effect till the later innings. Here comes Huff's 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs too high for ball 3. Now the count runs full with 3-2. And Briggs Loveland, the second baseman, due up next if it gets to him. Huff wanting to keep this inning right where it's at. Runners at second and third, tying run 90 feet away. The right-hander looks in, resets up away. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken for strike 3, right on the inside corner. Chris Ferrara thought he had ball 4, was taking the walk down the line. Home plate umpire rings him up. That's strikeout number 3 for Huff, and he gets out of an early second inning jam. We now go to the bottom half of the second. The Doubledays lead it 1-0. Just another gorgeous 78-degree day here inside Falcon Park. A.J. Wenrich, Christian Malillo, and Benji Reese be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Doubledays against Landon White. Currently surrendering a 1-0 lead as we play here in the bottom half of the second inning. Wenrich hitting a $159 so far. 6 doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs, has walked 7 times. The first pitch on the way, swinging a tapper down the third baseline. Fielded by Wagner, bare hand, takes a step-long throw. Scooped out by the first baseman, Nagishi. But Wenrich just too fast down the first base line. It's a leadoff single here in the bottom half of the second inning, and that brings up Christian Malillo. Well, White so far is throwing a lot of first pitch sliders. That's exactly what he gives Wenrich off the outside corner. Just gets a slow tapper of a rollover down the third base line. Tim Wagner playing deep. No chance to get Wenrich with the speed he's at. He's aboard at first base. Short lead with Melillo batting. The first pitch on the way is a fastball taken outside for ball one. Wenrich started with a very short lead and started expanding towards second right when White came in. 4 bags stolen on the year so far for AJ. He has yet to be caught. Short lead at first base will slowly extend. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball pulls off the outside corner. Palowitz, the catcher, just barely got a glove to it. Good hitters count for Melillo at 2-0. We'll see if AJ takes off in this at bat. Benji Reese, the catcher, would be due up next. Melillo, the switch hitter, batting from the left side. Here's the 2-0. Fastball runs outside. The throw to first base. Back in diving safely is Wenrich, and he's now given Christian Melillo a 3-0 count off the dot. Let's see if the red light is on or if they're going to allow Christian to swing the bat. Currently on the year so far for Melillo, a .274 season, 2 doubles, 3 triples, and a couple of home runs. Wenrich with the short lead will extend. Here's the 3-0 pitch to the plate. Fastball taken over the heart for a called first strike. It's now 3-1. It's the first of 2 games tonight here on July the 19th. Very important 2 games as well. Wenrich extending off the bag at first. The 3-1 pitch swung and jammed into shallow right field. Moving under it is Van Zalata. He's there to make the catch. Wenrich in retreat back to the bag. 1 away, and that will bring up Benji Reese. Benji with a new walk-up song was going with the Careless Whisper. And here on this next little home stretch, he decided to change it up a little bit. Wenrich to the lead, the first pitch. Fastball runs outside for ball 1, 1 ball, no strikes. For Benji on the year, batting .212 with 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, has walked 10 times. Doubledays as a team find their way on bag quite easily. Wenrich dancing off the base, the throw to first and back in time safely. Playing a little cat and mouse with the catcher, Jack Palowitz, in the pitcher, and Landon White. Looking to maybe see if he can draw a throw. Healthy lead, and now he's got himself picked off. The throw is in time. And the predictability came back into play, 2 away, and that will leave Benji Reese to hit with only nobody on. For the first time this year, maybe the first time in the month of July, the Doubledays have had a runner picked off. They only had 1 guy picked off up to this point so far in the year. Well, now 2 outs. Now White will get out of the windup. Here's the 1-0. Slider pulled outside for ball 2, 2-0. For the Doubledays as a whole, they steal quite a bit of bases, but they haven't been as aggressive as they have been in the past. Here comes the 2-0 pitch on the way. Slider taken downstairs and low for ball 3. Back-to-back 3-0 counts to Doubledays hitters. Here comes the 3-0 to Reese. Fastball grooved over the heart of the plate for a called strike. It's now 3-1. Doubledays have been a pretty good base running team as a whole so far this year, not really running the outs as a 3-1 pitch is down low for ball 4. So Reese will be aboard with a 2-out walk, and that will bring up the right fielder in Logan Korowski. White working from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set. Here's the first pitch to Korowski. A fastball that runs outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Logan spent his time with Cortland over the course of the spring season. Made his way to the Doubledays about a week ago. So far 0-2 on the year with a run scored. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive up the middle and through past the diving glove of Michael Flaherty into left center field. Reese heads to second base, and the Doubledays have some extra life with 2 away after the first single in a Doubledays uniform for Korowski. First pitch he sees, might we add you, and that brings up Michael Woolley. For the Doubledays so far this year, we talk about their base running. They've stolen 45 bags on the year. They've only been caught 12 times, now make it 13 with the pickoff. Regardless, Auburn really takes their chances when they know they have an opportunity to get that extra bag, and they're not really foolish quite like Jamestown is. The first pitch is a slider taken on the inside corner for a called strike one. Well, that's how the Doubledays were able to figure out how to beat the Tarp Skunks at their own game. Jamestown was running all over the place, and ultimately the Doubledays just took every single out they had. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Slider swung on and missed by Michael Woolley. Count goes to 0-2 with the Doubledays having some insurance on the bases, and if there's anything Auburn knows about this Newark team, then we'll definitely get on you late in the ball game. Getting all the runs you can early certainly helps out. Loveland forcing Reese back. Here's the 0-2. Swinging a pop down the right field line, foul out of play. Already we see some action in Newark's bullpen. Looks like a right-hander is starting to get loose. Auburn has nothing stirring, but there are guys sitting in the bullpen down on the bench. Reese aboard at second, takes his lead. Karowski behind him at first base. Couple of looks over at second. Here's the 0-2 to Woolley. A slider swung on and missed. Never mind, a foul ball, says our home plate umpire, Justin Matz. Woolley able to just get a little piece of an inside, make that an inside slider. That started a couple of pitches behind him. Was able to snap back to almost the inside corner. Definitely one of the harder arm angles to face so far this season for the Doubledays. We've seen Newark pitching, but this is the first time the Doubledays have seen Landon White. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball jammed, swung on shallow right field. Frank Vanzalata down the line, running out of room, but he's there to make the catch before crashing into the retaining wall. The Doubledays get 2 men aboard and then leave him stranded. We now go to the third inning. Auburn still leads it 1-0. And welcome back to Falcon Park. The Doubledays have a 1-0 lead over the Newark Pilots, as Sam Huff is throwing well so far for his 2 innings. He'll have the bottom of the order, Briggs Loveland, Jack Palowitz, and then the top of the order with Frank Vanzalata due up here in the top half of inning number 3. Auburn so far has gotten the hitting going a little bit, 3 hits so far compared to the 1 for Newark. Huff looks and delivers the first pitch on the way to Briggs Loveland. It's a fastball taken over the outside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. It's been Sam's bread and butter, that first pitch fastball, especially against Newark. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Fastball spiked in the dirt with a good stop by Reese. Count evens up at 1-1. A little bit of a lighter crowd here for the 5 o'clock first pitch of game 1 of 2. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive down the right field line. That is a fair ball, and it's going to be a little bit of trouble. Into the corner, Kowalski plays it well off the carom. The throw will go into Carson Gross at second base, and it's a lead-off double for Briggs Loveland. And Newark is on the board here with an opportunity to drive in a run and tie this ball game up. I'll bring up Jack Palowitz, the catcher and the 10-hitter, with the top of the order looming. Very important first out for Huff to get. The right-hander looks in, delivers. A bunt squared around, and it pulled back on a high breaking ball. The wheel play was on for the Doubledays. 1 ball and no strikes in. Now it's the question, will Palowitz square around again? Michael Woolley playing even with the bag at third. Garrett Prosper about to step in on the grass. Squares around. Bunt is popped up. Prosper has a chance, but lets it fall foul. Count evens up at 1-1. With the runner at second base, Michael Woolley does not go right away. He waits to see where the baseball goes, and then if it's hit towards him down the line, he has to come charging and take it. Other than that, the Doubledays will take any out they can at first base. Even there, we are in the third inning, which almost feels like the halfway point, especially in the 7th inning. Bunt is popped up right to Huff. He's got it to throw to second base, and it's not in time. Back in safely is Loveland. So it's a popped up bunt by Jack Palowitz. 1 away, and that brings up the top of the order with Frank Vanzalata. That's a big first out to get here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Left-hander Vanzalata now up, has a chance to move the runner over with a ground ball to the right side. Here's the first pitch on the way. Breaking ball snaps back onto the outside corner and splits the edge for a called strike 1. Huff's good breaking ball sitting around 68 to 70 miles an hour. The fastball sitting around 85. Look over at second base. Espinal playing in the back pocket. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way, swinging a little tapper foul down the first base line. Off the railing of the dugout, and now it's an 0-2 count to Vanzalata. He's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging back in the first inning. Huff looks into Reese, who's sending signals over to his right-hander. Sets up low and away. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball pulled inside off the back foot. Vanzalata tried to do anything he could to get contact with the baseball. Comes up empty. 1 ball and 2 strike with the wind blowing sharply in from left center. Copel looks over at second base is Huff. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung and slapped right to Michael Woolley. He's got it and will just put the baseball in his back pocket. A line out to the third baseman. Vanzalata retired. Loveland back in safely at second. And now Huff is just 1 out away from getting out of this inning unscathed after the leadoff double. That brings up Michael Flaherty. He struck out looking after a good breaking ball on the inside corner by Huff. That was back in the first. First pitch. Breaking ball snapped downstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Gotta like about Huff his ability to quickly forget about the at-bat prior and just go right after the next hitter. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball bounces in the dirt, but a good stop by Reese keeps the man aboard at second. 2 balls, no strikes here with still 2 away. Top of the 3rd inning, the Doubledays have a 1-0 lead. The outfield playing shallow, getting ready to throw. A.J. Wenrich and Malillo both red lights out in left and center field. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball snapped on the inside corner for a called strike. It's now 2-1. We have not seen the arm of Logan Kowalski yet this year. He's in right field playing medium depth right to the straightaway in line with first. Make that second and third base. Up with a look at second. Gross backs off towards second. The 2-1 with the runner taken off. The pitch is called a strike. The throw is high. Woolley jumps for the sky and gets the baseball back down. But now the count evens up at 2-2 with a stolen base from Loveland. He's now 90 feet away. Huff trying to leave him right there. Now working out of the windup. The right-hander delivers the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball downstairs in the dirt for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 away. Tying run sits at third base. Woolley playing back and down the line. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way from Huff. Fastball off the outside corner for ball 4. Michael Flaherty sends the bat down to first base and puts up 2 runners on for Tatsunori Negishi. First walk of the ball game for Sam Huff as well. Runners at the corners, and someone who's just been doing some hot hitting since joining Newark steps in. The right-hander delivers the first pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken off the back foot for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to the left-handed hitting Negishi. Auburn a slim 1-0 lead. They've been playing a lot of one-run ball games over the last weekend or so. The right-hander deals the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball snaps back onto the inside corner for a called strike. In the 13 games that Negishi has joined Newark, currently on fire, hitting .364, 16 hits and 44 at-bats, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, has walked 5 times, has yet to strike out. Ground ball over to third base, make that first base. Garrett Prosper's up with it. He takes it himself to the bag to retire the side. Huff again works out of trouble here in the 3rd inning. We now go to the bottom half. The Doubledays still lead at 1-0. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, the Doubledays have the top of the order. Carson Gross, Fernando Espinal, and Hazel Martinez going up a second time through the order against Landon White. And this Newark pitching staff as a whole this year, it's been a tough one. You can just tell by their 8-20-1 record. It's been a 5.88 ERA in 235 and 2/3 innings pitched. They've given up 199 runs, now 200 with that run coming in the top of the bottom of the first. First pitch slider misses outside, ball 1 to Carson. 1-0. Out of those 199, now 200 runs. 1-0 pitch misses outside for ball 2. But out of those 200 runs, 155 of them are earned. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Gross. Breaking ball misses off the plate away for ball 3. Carson now has an easy 3-0 count to work with. See if he gets the green light from Ben Julian down the first, make that the third baseline. Here comes the right-hander's 3-0 pitch home. Fastball taken off the corner for a called strike. It's now 3-1. White currently sitting at 85 with that fastball. Drops it down to 80 with the slider. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the way. Popped up on the infield. Make that out of play now as that one flies over our heads off to the concession stands down below. And now the count runs full 3-2. Carson 0 for 1. He flew out to medium depth center field his first time up. The right-hander looks in. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way to Carson. A slider off the plate away for ball 4. So the leadoff man reaches in back-to-back innings for the Doubledays, and that brings up Fernando Espinal. Fernando walked his first time up. Stole a bag and then later came around to score on the Bobby Stang RBI double. Right-hander moves over to first base. Back in safely with a dive is Carson. Just nearly ahead of the throw from Landon White. Carson with 9 swipes so far this year. He's been only caught twice. The right-hander looks in, gets his sign, and a move back to the bag. And Carson has the back corner easily intact. A little bit of a smaller crowd on hand here in Game 1. We're expecting that to really inflate in Game 2. And another move back to the bag. Carson Gross is in there safely. 3 straight moves over to first base. That's something that's been actually quite nice about the new rules implemented by Major League Baseball with the base runners. Only 2 disengagements allowed per pitcher per at-bat. On that third one, you have to get the guy out or it's a balk. Here comes the first pitch to Espinal. Fastball runs up and inside and spins him like a top. 1 ball and no strikes the count for Fernando. Take a look at last night for Espinal. Walk, run scored, and a strikeout. Only 0 for 1 evening. Couple of looks. Here's the 1-0. Fastball runs outside. The throw over to first base. Carson able to get there, scurrying back on his feet. 2 balls and no strikes now. The count to Fernando, who's given himself a good opportunity with Gross aboard. And we've seen that so far for the entire Doubledays. Whenever they have a guy aboard at first base, Landon White and Jack Palowitz continue to play the cat and mouse game by the Doubledays base runners. It's led to good hitters' counts. Another move back to the bag, and in safely diving is Carson again. Looks like that might be the plan of attack for Newark this afternoon and this evening. If the guy gets on, just wear him out, getting him back to the bag at first base on pickoffs. Carson keeps his lead quite short at first base. Slowly inches out. The 2-0. Slider popped up in the air to deep left center field. The wind knocking it down. Calling him off is Frankie DiMartino, the center fielder in the gap. He's there to make the catch. Gross retreats back to the bag at first base and thinks about tagging up, but holds up. 1 away, that brings up Hazel Martinez. He's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging back in the first inning. Outfield shifts with the pull side. DiMartino now takes over in the right center field gap, leaving left center wide open. Carson takes off. Fastball outside, modified pitch out. The throw to second base is high, but it's not in time. Carson Gross swipes bag number 10 of the summer. He's in scoring position with 1 away. Talk about runners in scoring position. Hazel Martinez can certainly bring home some damage. Batting .318 with runners in scoring position so far this year in 22 at-bats. He has 17 RBIs as well. Dancing off the bag at second is Gross, leaving White to look over. The 1-0. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Off with the mask is the catcher, Palowitz. He doesn't know where the baseball is. Third baseman Tim Wagner running in. He has no room. And a little late as the catcher, Jack Palowitz, saw the baseball go up, but he didn't see where it went. And the Doubledays catch a break. Now the count evens up at 1-1 on Hazel Martinez. Well, those are tough for catchers. They got to look for the baseball as soon as that ball goes up in the air. And the baseball must have gotten blocked by the sun. Palowitz looked over towards the first base dugout, but still could not find the baseball. Tim Wagner, the third baseman, came relatively close. Carson dancing out the bag. The 1-1 pitch is a slider taken outside for ball 2, 2-1. Throw gets on by pitcher Logan White coming from the home plate. Not the most exaggerated shift we've seen on Hazel so far this year. It was back on Sunday evening in Game 2 of our doubleheader. The entire infield was shifted towards Martinez's pull side, and then he served a base hit through the left side of the open infield. Here comes the 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs at the eyes for ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 away. They might be trying to possibly pitch around Martinez to put runners at first and second for Bobby Stang. He's due up next. 3 balls and a strike. Carson shortens his lead up at second base. Couple of looks from White. Here's the 3-1. Swinging a pop-up on the infield right to the second baseman, Briggs Loveland. He moves in on it, blocks his eyes from the sun. He's there to make the catch in between the base paths, 2 away. And that brings up Bobby Stang with a runner at second base. Bobby had the RBI double back in the bottom half of the first inning, giving the Doubledays the 1-0 lead. That was double number 18 and RBI number 29. He leads the PGCBL in doubles right now with that 18 number. Outfield shifting now in the extreme pull side. Here's the first pitch to Bobby, swung on in a line drive, looping into shallow left center field. Coming in on it is DiMartino. He lays out and can't make the catch. It's a base hit. Coming in to score is Carson Gross. The shift pays off for Bobby Stang. He's aboard at first base with his second hit and second RBI. Make that RBI number 30 on the year. Gives the Doubledays a 2-0 lead, and that brings up Garrett Prosper. Well, the center fielder, Frankie DiMartino, was deep in left center field, almost into the 413 alleyway. Had a long run to get to the baseball. He comes up empty on the dive. The first pitch to Prosper is a back foot slider taken for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Garrett 0 for 1, ground out to second his first time up. But with the left fielder, Justin DiMartino, playing deep down the line, there was no chance for Frankie to get it. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball taken on the outside corner. Make that a called strike. It's now 1-1. Bobby with his lead off first base, really short with Negishi holding him on. The right-hander looks in, the 1-1 pitch. Slider catches the back door for a called strike 2. And that's where Landon White has been a lot more dangerous, when his slider starts in the right-handed batter's box and then breaks back onto the plate. Bobby with his lead off at first base slowly works out to where he's settled in. About a step and a half away. The right-hander White looks over. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Prosper. Swinging a foul back to the backstop. Just gets the bat head out and just nicks the tip of a baseball foul. Slowly, as we get rolling into deeper of game one, some more fans continue to make their way into the ballpark to get ready for the end of this one and then the start of game two. The right-hander deals the 1-2 pitch on the way. Slider catches nothing but turf outside. Does not catch the outer corner for ball 2, 2-2. Right-hander still warming up in the bullpen, but nothing other than just a couple of plyo balls to the wall. Here's a pause. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider back to the screen foul once again. Prosper able to continue his at-bat and stay alive. Mentioned the Doubledays currently in 5th place of the division, 4.5 back of the Elmira lead. Currently, Elmira sits in first place for the first time since middle June. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider backdoors all the way to the backstop. Bobby Stang motors into second base. Puts another runner in scoring position now with 2 away. Full count to Prosper at 3-2 with A.J. Wenrich, the batter, due up next. Landon White trying to throw another slider this time. It's not off the back door and misses inside, well off the target. Palowitz couldn't get to the baseball in time. It was right to the backstop. The 3-2. Slider backs off the corner outside for ball 4. Prosper reaches with a walk. His 16th of the year. He heads down to first. 2 outs gives A.J. Wenrich an opportunity to hit, and now Palowitz will step out and head over to the mound to have a conversation with his hurler. That's the 4th walk surrendered here in the first 3 innings by Landon White. 2 of those runs have scored with Fernando Espinal in the bottom of the first inning and then Carson Gross in the bottom of the 3rd. Bobby Stang aboard at second base. He delivered the parachute RBI single. Prospered the at-bat prior with a walk. Brings up Wenrich with the runners at first and second, 2 away. The right-hander looks over at Stang, getting his lead off the bag. The first pitch. Swinging a line drive back to the screen foul. Off the shelving of the roof and then off the netting into the dugout down the first base side. No balls and a strike to the Doubledays center fielder. Seen AJ get plenty of action out in center field over the course of this year, primarily a right fielder. Couple looks at second with Stang leading off the bag. The 0-1 pitch to Wenrich is swung on and missed back into the glove of Palowitz. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Wenrich, infield single his last time up. He was picked off of first base as well. Was the second out of the inning. Runners take their leads. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way to Wenrich. A slider taken downstairs just lower than the zone. Landon White thought he had his 3rd strike. He was already making his way back to the dugout. About 3 of the Pilots infielders were also starting to make the jog back to the dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Staying at second, Prosper at first base. The right-hander looks over. Here comes the 1-2 to Wenrich. A slider swung on and missed for strike 3. That is his 2nd strikeout of the ball game, and he gets out of the bottom of the 3rd inning, only surrendering a run. We now go to the 4th. The Doubledays leading 2-0 here in the middle of game 1. And welcome back to gorgeous Falcon Park here on another perfect day here in the Finger Lakes. Sam Huff back out for another inning of work. He's got Jack Arcamone, Justin DiMartino, and Frankie DiMartino. Top of the 4th inning. The first pitch is a breaking ball taken on the outside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. Arcamone hit a little tapper back to the mound. He reached first. The 0-1. Check swing on a breaking ball down low, looking for anybody to call a swing on. Sam Huff just gave up when he saw where the field umpire was down the first base line. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way from the Bates College right-hander, taken outside for ball 2, 2-1. Now we've seen the Doubledays left-handed bats certainly get called on check swings down the first base line by the field umpires this year. It's happened a couple of times. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball sent on the ground over to first base. Garrett Prosper has it in his tracks. He sends it over to first and touches the bag himself for out number 1. Arcamone off with his helmet and quickly slams his helmet into the railing down the first base dugout. 1 away. That will bring up Justin DiMartino, the left fielder. Well, this is the Sam Huff we're accustomed to seeing, quick and always ready to fire the first pitch strike. The first pitch is a breaking ball tapped back to the mound. Huff has got it this time, sends a looper over to first base, and is in time to get Justin DiMartino back-to-back pitches, back-to-back outs. And that brings up Frankie DiMartino, the brother, in center field. Talk about siblings playing baseball. The Ripkins, a family of baseball players, Bill and Cal. Speaking of Cal Ripken, he played for the Newark Pilots back in the time of the professional baseball in the Finger Lakes. First pitch, breaking ball taken off the plate away for ball 1. Pilots have themselves quite a long history. They were the first minor league system for the Seattle Pilots. So Newark was named the Newark Co-Pilots. The 1-0 pitch is sent on the ground over to third base. Michael Woolley has it. Long throw in time over to first base. It's the 1-2-3 inning for Sam Huff. We now go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Doubledays currently leading 2-0. And we're picking things up here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. We were supposed to have a new pitcher on Michael Walsh, but now time is called by the home plate umpire. He wants to take a look at what is on the left forearm in his elbow of Walsh, and now both managers have joined in with the home plate umpire. And we're talking about what could possibly be happening now now we're bringing in number 37 from the bullpen in. And it looks like we might be just seeing, oh, now we're seeing a whole new pitcher. It looks like Michael Walsh has come off the mound. He was originally scheduled to throw, and now he's making his way towards the Auburn dugout to find the trainer. Possibly something could have happened to Walsh in between pitches, but now we have a new pitcher warming up, so we'll take a quick break up here. Once again, we'll tell you a little more with the newly entered pitcher giving as many pitches as he needs to get ready, so it's going to be another little delay, so we'll be right back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network, and we'll get this one going whenever we have more information to provide. But for right now, we'll have a new pitcher warming up, so it'll take a little bit before we get ourselves ready to go for the bottom half of the fourth inning. Well, in recent developments, it is Ian Goodness who is taking over on the mound for the Newark Pilots here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Christian Malillo, Benji Reese, and Logan Kowalski. It will be 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Doubledays against the newly entered right-hander. Michael Walsh was originally supposed to pitch, and instead, as soon as he got his warm-up pitches in, he did not feel something comfortable, made his way towards the Doubledays dugout, and is now currently talking with the trainer by the Doubledays dugout, the third baseline, so hopefully Michael is all right. Anyways, we're back here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Christian Melillo will lead things off. The first pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Well, for Ian so far this year, 5.14 ERA. Nothing record in 3 games, 7 innings pitched. The 0-1 pitch to Melillo is swung on and tapped foul down the right field side. Now it's 0-2. For goodness, 5 hits, 5 runs for those earned. Walked 6, struck out 6, opponents batting an even 200. Right-hander from the windup delivers the 0-2 pitch to Melillo. Fastball runs upstairs and high and away for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Christian, a double in last night's ball game, got his second one of the year. He had multiple extra base hits except for doubles up to that point. The 1-2 pitch, fastball runs upstairs and away for ball 2 yet again. Just an interesting year for Christian. He started out red hot towards the end of the month of June, and then a stomach bug took him out of a hot hitting streak. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, taken maybe a tick off the outside corner. Melillo quickly has words with home plate umpire Justin Matz on a breaking ball that might have missed outside. Certainly looked away. Jack Pawlowitz tried to frame the pitch back into the zone. I don't think it caught any of the plate at all. One away, that brings up Benji Reese. Back-to-back strikeouts for Newark pitching. First one for goodness. First pitch to Benji Reese is a breaking ball taken downstairs and low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Benji will walk back in the second inning. He was left stranded on the base paths at second base. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball taken on the outer third for a called strike. It's 1-1. Well, it looks like Walsh has now retreated back into the dugout for the Doubledays along with the trainer. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A fastball at the top of the zone gets Reese hacking. Has a word with Justin Matz asking if that was going to be a called strike regardless, and it must have been. Little nod from the home plate umpire. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way from goodness. It's a breaking ball outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes evens up the count. Sun still coming down from the third base side of the dugout. Shadows still creeping up towards home plate. Have yet to cause a factor to the batters yet this evening. The 2-2 pitch on the way to Reese. A fastball taken off the plate away for ball 3. Count runs full 3-2, and with Logan Krowowski, the batter due up next, you would feel like you would need that runner aboard at first base yet again with a left-hander up. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken just off the outside corner for ball 4. So maybe the Doubledays get that call back. Puts a runner on first base. Reese's second walk of the ball game. That brings up Logan Krowowski. He's 1 for 1. He got his first knock as a member of the Doubledays back in the bottom half of the second inning. Local guy out of Cortland from Syracuse, New York. Just a short 30-minute drive away, maybe even 40 at the most. The first pitch to Krowowski is a fastball that gets a check swing, maybe a called strike regardless on the outside corner. Ben Julian walking in asking if it's on the swing or if it's taken. It's like they're going to say it's going to be taken for a called strike. But I asked the field umpire if maybe if it was a check swing. We've usually seen the field umpires get involved in most of these ball games. We've seen some home plate umpires call it themselves a move over to first base. And Reese with a short dive back to the bag. He's not going anywhere. Catcher for the Doubledays. Nagishi holding the runner on at first base, causing a big hole with Briggs Loveland playing up the middle. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Krowowski. Swung on and missed on the outside corner. Violent hack, and now he's down 0-2. Michael Woolley will be up next, hopefully with 2 on. Outfield playing pretty much standard depth to Krowowski. We haven't seen the power yet here in his 3 at-bats. A throw to first base. Gets away from Nagishi. Moving into second base is Reese. He's getting the wave around. Up with the ball is the first baseman. The throw up the line. Tag applied. It's not in time. Benji Reese motors all the way around from first base on the wide throw by Ian Goodness, and that brings a runner all the way around 90 feet away from home. Tatsunori Nagishi had to feel the ball deep down the first base line and just sent a long rainbow throw to third base, and it was up the line. Plenty of time for Reese to swipe in. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Kurowski. He swung on and missed. Good fastball on the inside corner at 87 for a swinging strike 3, 2 away. That brings up Michael Woolley. 2 strikeouts, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Woolley 0 for 1. He flew out to the right fielder in foul territory his first time up. The first pitch on the way, a fastball taken for a called strike on the outside corner. No one getting loose in the Doubledays bullpen yet. This is still Sam Huff's game. 2-run lead, looking to make it 3 with Woolley at the plate and Reese at third base. Here's the 0-1. Fastball taken down and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. Michael batting .228 to get his summer going, the 1-1. Fastball taken upstairs for a called strike 2, and maybe frustrated with the call in the outside corner. It's been the Doubledays, probably their weakest link on offense is being able to let a pitch go behind them after the last one goes through. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Reese at third. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and tapped down the third baseline. It's going to be a tough play for Wagner. He's up and on the run. The throw is right in time to first base, and this side is retired. But the Doubledays get a man on, but leave him stranded at third. We now go to the 5th inning. The Doubledays with a 2-0 lead over the Pilots. Picking things up here in the top half of the 5th inning in a 7-inning game 1 of a 2-game doubleheader. Sam Huff back out to work facing Tim Wagner, Chris Ferrara, and Briggs Loveland. 7, 8, 9 due up. The right-hander looks into the right-handed swinging Wagner. The first pitch on the way. A fastball swung on into shallow center field. A.J. Wenrich casually glides into shallow left center field. He makes the catch for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top half of the 5th inning, and that brings up Chris Ferrara. Well, it's always nice to see Sam Huff get 1 pitch, 1 out. He does have a left-hander warming up in the bullpen, Simon Aluko. He is sent set down. The first pitch on the way, a breaking ball taken on the outside corner for a called first strike, 0-1 on the designated hitter Ferrara. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Huff of another slider. That one's taken down low for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. Huff looking to get another quality start here in this one. The 1-1 slider misses down low for ball two. 2 balls and a strike now the count. 6:19 local time here inside Falcon Park on the Finger Lakes. The wind still blowing in from left center field. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball taken outside for ball 3. Count goes to a hitter's favor at 3-1 with Briggs Loveland. He's 1 for 1 with a double due up next. Nobody warming up in the Newark bullpen. The 3-1 pitch is a breaking ball sent right back to the screen, foul. Now the count runs full to 3-2. A little bit of a longer at-bat than Tim Wagner. First pitch he saw in the top of the 5th inning was a routine pop out to center. Here comes the right-hander's 3-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a tapper to third base. Wooley's got it. Barehanded throw on to first base, and it's in time to get Chris Ferrara. Put a little star on that for Michael Woolley. A beautiful barehanded play by the Doubledays hot corner, a la Adrian Beltre. And that will bring up the catcher, make that the second baseman, Briggs Loveland. This is a tough play for Woolley going down the third base line. Has to pick this one up straight off the turf. And then in stride throws a dart over to first base. The first pitch to Loveland, a fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. And you don't see a lot of third basemen making do-or-die plays like that, especially off turf. You have every opportunity. The 0-1. Taken on the outside corner for a called strike, 2. Huff now a strike away from burying the 9-hitter. Getting the Doubledays back in the dugout quickly in the 5th. Little pause. Really taking his time. The 0-2 pitch from Huff is a fastball that runs outside for ball 1. We've seen Sam do that a lot this year. We've seen him try to throw off hitters' timings. Now he might quick pitch here after the long delayed windup. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way home. Fastball runs outside for ball 2, 2-2. Sam has yet to have a strikeout since the end of the 2nd inning. He has 3 tonight. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way to Loveland. Breaking ball taken outside for ball 3. After an 0-2 quickly count, he's now back down 3-2. Slaps his glove on the way back to the rubber. And sometimes pitchers are something else, and Sam Huff is one of them. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Top of the 5th inning in a 2-run game. The right-hander works the windup, and the full count pitch is swung on and tapped foul right off the plate. And we'll try it again at a full count, 3-2. Well, runners have reached base. They've only gotten as far as second base, and Huff has been able to keep guys stranded. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll try it again. Here comes the pitch from Huff, swinging a line drive foul down the first base line. Rinse and repeat on 3-2. We have to wait for Logan Korowski to get the baseball back out of play. Nobody up and throwing in the Doubledays bullpen. Aluko sat down after throwing in between innings. Now he's picked up the glove. He's ready to go again. Sam Huff on the mound, delivers the 3-2 pitch on the way home. It's a line drive right to Garrett Prosper, who takes an extra step, and now a foot race to the bag, dives. He's there in time. Sam Huff threw 5 innings of scoreless baseball, and the Doubledays still have a 2-run lead. We now go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Doubledays leading over Newark. Carson Gross will lead us off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Welcome back to Falcon Park. Trevor Curl along with you guys for another beautiful sun-soaked day here inside the Finger Lakes. Right-hander Ian Goodness back out for another inning of work. Delivers the first pitch on the way to Gross, and he sends a high fly ball out to deep right center field. Frank Vanzalata in retreat, but he's there with plenty of time to make the catch for a quick first out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Most of these games for the Doubledays are not really slow burners. They're quick matches with the occasional slow burn of an inning. But other than that, almost all these games, especially in these quick 7-inning doubleheaders, seem like they fly by. This one's working a little bit of a longer time, though. First pitch was just after 5 o'clock. Fernando Espinal due up with one away. The first pitch he sees is sent on the ground over to shortstop. Flaherty's got it, long throw, not dug out over at first base by Nagishi. Motoring into second base is Espinal. The throw is off the bag. And how about that? A ground ball over to shortstop. Flaherty deep in the 6 hole, not the strongest of arms, sends a rock skipper over to first base, and it's not dug out by the first baseman and Nagishi. One away with a runner at second base. That brings up Hazel Martinez. It was back-to-back ground balls, or back-to-back possible easy outs for this Newark defense, but 45 errors on the year, make it now 47 with the 2 tonight. Tough one here for the bottom half of the 5th inning. Doubledays have speed aboard at second for Martinez. The right-hander's first pitch to Hazel is a fastball on the outside corner, taken for a called strike. Michael Walsh starts to make his way around the home plate area. He was dealing with some elbow tightness back in the bottom of the 4th inning, was scheduled to pitch. Steps off, and a move over to second base. Back in standing is Espinal with nobody in the vicinity. And now time is called with Palowitz now going out to have a conversation with his right-handed hurler. More and more fans start to make their way into the ballpark, and a lot more Little Leaguers. We're seeing them in their jerseys. It is a Little League night here at the ballpark tonight. And we'll see it as well tomorrow against the Geneva Red Wings. Espinal aboard at second base, short lead. A right-hander Goodness's pitch on the way to Martinez is a fastball that runs upstairs for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike, evens up the count. Well, game 2 is scheduled to be 30 minutes after the conclusion here in game 1. This was moving along quite well, and then a couple of long innings, the bottom of the 3rd and the bottom of the 4th, took their time to end up. Couple looks at second. The 1-1 pitch to Martinez is a fastball that runs up and away for ball 2, 2-1. Both Espinal and Martinez, former pilots for themselves, spent their summer here inside Falcon Park with Cayuga College. Espinal now committed to Lenore Ryan in North Carolina. The 2-1. Breaking ball off the plate away for ball 3. 3-1 the count. Goodness letting his catcher know that that spot was missed on him. Little taps to the chest before he makes his way back onto the rubber. Dangerous man due up next with Bobby Stang. Martinez isn't a cakewalk either. The right-hander looks in. Espinal with the lead. The 3-1 pitch on the way. Back foot taken off the plate for ball 4. So Hazel takes his first walk down the first baseline of the ball game. One away, that brings up Bobby Stang. Bobby's had himself a nice little RBI afternoon. He's responsible for those 2 runs put up on the board. An RBI double in the 1st inning and an RBI single in the 3rd. Has 30 RBIs total on the year so far, leading the Doubledays. The right-hander delivers the first pitch, a ground ball down the 3rd base line, and it sneaks foul past Ben Julian and down towards the Doubledays bullpen. Simon Aluco now starting to walk around in the bullpen. We saw him throwing in between innings in the 4th and the 5th, and we saw him a little bit starting to loosen up at the conclusion of the top of the 5th inning. Looks like Sam Huff will go back out for another one. Sam pitched really well back in Jamestown. We'll give you the stat line after the inning. The runners take off. The pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive left center field for another base hit. In to score Espinal from second. Martinez motors into third base. The throw goes through the cutoff man. It's another RBI single for Bobby Stang, RBI number 31. And the Doubledays now have a 3-0 lead over the Newark Pilots in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Well, sometimes hitting just is a little too easy. Bobby Stang certainly showing us tonight that it could happen to anybody on any given night. It's a fastball over the heart of the plate. The shortstop, Michael Flaherty, was trying to flash back to second base. He saw the lead that Espinal was taking, and it was a long one, especially late off the bag at second. Flaherty pretty much up and gave up the 4-hole, but it wouldn't matter. It was a line drive into left center field by Bobby that brought in the runner from second base on the steal. So a hit and run does pay off as well, with Hazel Martinez now aboard at third base with still one away here in the inning. And that gives Garrett Prosper an opportunity, and now the pitching coach and Ryan Seals makes his way back towards the dugout. Make that actually Daniel Steve, the manager, having a quick word with Ian Goodness. Martinez on at third base. Bobby Stang aboard at first base. 3-0 our score here in the bottom of the inning. The right-hander delivers the first pitch to Prosper, and a delayed steal by Bobby Stang. He takes off for second. The throw goes through the second baseman, Loveland. Michael Flaherty somehow knocks the baseball down. It's the first stolen bag for Bobby Stang this year. So it's a first for everything tonight, including runners at second and third with one away. The infield currently playing back on Prosper. Maybe not the brightest idea with the RBI ability for Garrett this year. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swinging a pop-up, shallow left field. Going back is Flaherty. He gives away to DiMartino. He makes the catch, and Hazel Martinez trying to bait a throw. DiMartino just wisely sends a toss to the cutoff man. 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Doubledays with a 3-0 lead, and that brings up A.J. Wenrich. Wenrich a 1-for-2 night so far. A base hit. He was picked off at first base, and then a strikeout. So one of the more interesting ball games for the Doubledays center fielder. Two outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. A lot of insurance on the base pass right now. Martinez aboard at third. Bobby Stang at second. See if Goodness goes right after Wenrich or tries to pitch around him to face Melillo. The first pitch is a fastball that nibbles the outside corner for a called first strike. Wenrich got his new twig in hand brought to him by Devin McWaters. He was originally going with a Victus black and white handle, is now gone with the Fernando Tatis model. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball taken off the plate away for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. And it was back on Sunday afternoon in Game 2 of our doubleheader against Jamestown. Auburn tied the game with a Hazel Martinez RBI single, and then A.J. Wenrich, 2 pitches later, deposited his first home run into left field off the roof of the batting cage. He swings on a ground ball to third base. Up with the ball is Tim Wagner. He's got to throw to first base is in time, and the inning is over. But the Doubledays do scrap one on the RBI single by Bobby Stang. We now go to the top of the 6th inning. Let's see if Huff is going out for another. Yes, he is. We'll be right back on the Doubledays Baseball Network. It's a 3-0 game. Auburn with the lead. Top of the 6th inning here inside Falcon Park. Sam Huff back out for another inning of work. He will go up against the bottom of the order, Jack Palowitz, and then flips it back to the top to Frank Vanzalata and Michael Flaherty. 10, 1, and 2. The first pitch on the way, a breaking ball taken for a called strike, 0-1. Back on Friday night against Jamestown. In Jamestown, Huff went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits. 2 runs, they were not earned. Walked 5, struck out 3. Got the win. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball. Swung on and missed, ties up Palowitz, and now he's down 0-2. Huff looking for his 4th one of the afternoon. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball just nibbles off the outside corner. Huff was threw his palms up and then quickly send him back to his hips. Try not to show up the home plate umpire, Justin Matz. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way from Huff. A fastball, making a slider taken off the outside corner for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and if Huff gets into any sort of trouble, Simon Aluko is ready and waiting in the bullpen. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a tapper. Never mind, a swing and a miss for strike 3. The throw to first base is in time. That's the 4th strikeout of the ballgame for Sam Huff. Looks like Benji Reese didn't get a clean glove on it off the chest protector. And now the time is called as Ben Julian will take a quick troll up to the mound. And it looks like that could be it for Sam Huff. Simon Aluko is hot and ready in the bullpen. And he points down with his left hand. That is all for Sam Huff. He pitches well. 5 1/3 innings pitch. He hits the rest of his infield up. Gets a good high five to Benji Reese, his battery mate, before exiting off into the Doubledays dugout. We'll tell you a little bit more about Mr. Aluko when we come back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. 3-0 our score. Doubledays have the lead. Oh, we apologize for the camera inconvenience. We're at the location. We're having trouble with our camera stand, so hopefully in between innings, we'll take care of that. The Nigerian Nightmare, Simon Aluko, takes over, gets a first pitch ground out as the first pitch on the way to Michael Flaherty is swung on and missed 0-1. 2 away for the Double A's as Sam Huff's night is done. Goes 5 1/3 innings pitch, gives up 2 hits, no runs, walks 1, strikes out 4. Aluko, the left-hander, delivers the 0-1 to Flaherty, a fastball taken upstairs at 88 for ball 1, 1 ball, and 1 strike. Well, for Aluko this year, it's been a pretty good one. Despite a rocky start against the Niagara Power, since then he's been nothing but dominant. The 1-1 pitch is taken downstairs and low for ball 2. Simon with a 3.86 ERA, 1-0. In 11 2/3 innings pitched, he's given up 2 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Walked 14, struck out 23. Opponents batting 54 cents on the left-hander from Charleston Southern. The 2-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Now the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 away. Flaherty, it's an 0-for-1 night, a strikeout and a walk. Aluko looks in, gets his sign from Reese, who sets up inside. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way from Aluko from the windup. Fastball paints the inside but does not get the called strike 3. The entire Double A's infield started taking 3 steps towards the third base dugout and hold their horses back to the positions. Flaherty's now worked the count full at 3-2. The right-hander versus the left-handed Aluko. From the windup, delivers the 3-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Simon Aluko enters in and slams the door shut on Newark. They can't do anything against Doubleday pitching tonight. We now go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Doubledays with a 3-0 lead. fastball down and low and must have hit the foot of Malone. Make that actually, it was ball 4, so we got the count wrong up here. Moving on to first base with a runner aboard, that will bring up Benji Reese. It's a leadoff walk here for Malillo. That brings up Benji Reese. Barling a look over at first base. Malillo with a healthy lead. The first pitch on the way is a sword of a slider, swinging and missing. Pitch in the dirt for strike 1. Nothing in 1 the count to Reese. Malillo does have 9 bags on the year. 1 step down below Carson Gross. Now it's 10. Healthy lead with the left-hander working right from the middle of the slab. Long pause, the 0-1. Breaking ball taken down low for ball 1, 1 1 strike, evens up the count. Well, now the shadows are starting to approach home plate, and it might not be in this inning, but over the course of the rest of this ball game, the shadows could possibly be an effect to both ball clubs' hitting staffs. Here's the 1-1 pitch with Malillo taking off at a swing and a miss, and the ball goes through the backstop. Malillo swiping in on second base with a slide. He didn't know where the baseball was. Went through the backstop of Jack Palowitz. So a stolen base number 10. He equalizes with Carson once again. Malillo aboard at second. Reese now hitting with a ball and 2 strikes, the count on him. Doubledays against left-handed hitting, or against left-handed pitching this year. 208 average, scoring 31 runs. Time is called now as Reese will step out and re-wipe some sweat off the eyebrow. Doubledays with 42 hits, 11 extra base hits. Not a single home run against left-handers this year. Compared to right-handers, they certainly have struggled against southpaws. The left-hander looks over at Malillo, shortening his lead up at second, now slowly extending. The 1-2 pitch to Reese is a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes, evens up the count. Doubledays against right-handed hitting, or maybe against right-handed pitching, do a lot better, batting .243 on the year, scoring 144 runs. 59 extra base hits. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider taken on the corner for a called third strike. Bartling's first since entering on, 1 away, and that brings up Logan Kowalski. That was the first official at-bat of the ball game for Benji Reese. He had 2 plate appearances, both were walks. Left-hander, a couple looks at second. The first pitch to Kowalski is sent on the ground over to second base. Loveland's got it. A throw over to first base is in time to get the hustle in Doubleday's right fielder. 2 away, and that brings up Michael Woolley. Well, an important insurance run sits at third base. Simon Aluko will go back out and try to take care of a 5-out save if the Doubledays cannot get Malillo to come in from third. Bartling, the left-hander, delivers the first pitch to Woolley, a high breaking ball, taking over at the letters for a called first strike. 0-1. Now the crowd starts to file in a little more, getting ready for Little League Day in Game 2. The left-hander looks. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Woolley. Another hammer taken down in the dirt for ball 2. Make that ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kind of getting ahead of ourselves up here, high above Falcon Park. Couple of looks. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. Flattery's got it. The throw is in time to first base to retire Woolley and retire the Doubledays. Malillo works a leadoff walk, steals second, and is left stranded at third. We now go to the top of the 7th inning. Simon Aluko looking for the 5-out save to send the Doubledays back to a game above 500. We'll be right back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. Top of the 7th inning, as now time is called as we have the music still going on in the ballpark. Home plate umpire Justin Matz letting us know up here what's going on. Here we go. Top of the 7th inning. Simon Aluko back out here for another inning of work. He has 3, 4, and 5. Tatsunori Negishi, the first batter. He'll see lefty's first pitch is swung on and it's fouled off the leg of Justin Matz, the home plate umpire, for a swing and foul tip, strike one. No balls and a strike here in the top half of the 7th inning. The Doubledays scoring 1 run in the first, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 5th. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way from Aluko. Is a good fastball that just misses the inside corner. For ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, foul down the first base side. Out of play, it's now a 1-2 count. Negishi so far 0 for 2 in this one. A ground out. A couple of ground outs, actually. Still has yet to strike out in his first 46 at-bats. The left-hander looks in, gets his sign. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Taken for a called third strike on the outside corner. A good slider by the Nigerian Nightmare. Gets the first batter he sees out in the 7th inning. Hands Negishi his first strikeout of the season. 1 away, and that brings up Jack Arcamone. Back-to-back lefty-lefty batters here in the 7th. Here comes the first pitch on the way. A fastball at 87 runs up and inside, a little tight on Arcamone. He's 0 for 2, reached on an error in the 2nd, and a ground out victim in the 4th inning. Here comes Aluko's 1-0 pitch home. Swinging it, somehow able to get contact with a baseball. Running up and inside yet again, evens up the count at 1-1. Well, no shocker to see Michael Sills starting to loosen up in the bullpen just in case he's needed, but right now this is all Simon to complete and get his save. The left-hander working from the third base side of the rubber, looks into the left-hander, Arcamone in the box. The pitch on the way, fastball taken inside for a called strike 2. Now Simon has him right in the palm of his hand. Got his first strikeout of the inning in the 7th. The leadoff batter, here comes the 1-2 pitch after a breath. The pitch taken for a called third strike at the knees. Jack Arcamone is only a statue, watches the third one blow by him. 2 away, and that brings up Justin DiMartino. Well, compared to the first game for Simon Aluko this year, where he was struggling to find the strike zone, he has changed his ways for the better in the 2023 summer. The first pitch is a fastball taken in off the plate for ball 1 to DiMartino. It looks like we'll get this game wrapped up in a nice little time here, maybe just under 2 hours. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike on the outside corner. The count evens up at 1-1. For us, at least, it's a race against the clock to see if you can finish this game before the 7 o'clock hour. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive over to second base. Carson's got on a hop, sets his feet, sends a toss over to first base, and that's your ball game. The Doubledays are a game above 500 at 17-16. They have victory formation right up the chute of home plate to center field. The outfielders shake hands. The infield does their own celebration, and here comes the bullpen. After the Doubledays walk away from Game 1 victorious, 3-0 your score. Here on the Doubledays Baseball Network, we will have Game 2 of this doubleheader between the Doubledays and the Pilots. Looks like it'll be a 7:35 first pitch here inside of Falcon Park. We'll see you right after this with the Doubledays winning Game 1 by a final score of 3-0. The Doubledays 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. Newark, no runs on 2 hits. They committed 2 errors. We'll see you next time here in Falcon Park in just under 15 or so minutes. Tune back in, have that bell on, because we will be going live shortly here from Falcon Park.